We did a call-in show the other night looking for the toughest schedules, and we just started throwing them out there, and I had the viewers survey them, but I started right with Arkansas because I knew Cincinnati and BYU in the SEC West, and Auburn always comes to mind because they got to run through the gauntlet,
right?
And especially now because they're not one of the better teams in the SEC West,
Sure.
So they're looking up at everybody. Plus, they always have to play Georgia, so it's brutal for them as well.
And listen, people may not realize, but Penn State comes to Auburn in September. So that, Mark, I think that's a litmus test for Auburn. Auburn almost won in Happy Valley last year. We're not able to do so. And I'm not saying that's going to determine their season, but it would help them tremendously if they could win that game when Penn State comes into Auburn.
They both turned out to be it was a big game, a lot of attention, a lot of hype, ABC game on a Saturday night in Happy Valley, but they both turned out to be pretty marginal teams when it comes to record. Now, of course, they're playing in conferences. They kind of beat that down. But I think it's also a litmus test for the Big Ten to a certain extent. If Auburn's going to get beaten down in the SEC as much as everybody thinks they are, and they win against Penn State, and then Penn State is a decent showing in the Big Ten, it's going to show or give an indication that the SEC is truly out in front by a pretty good margin.
Yeah, and as far as this Auburn team is concerned, we don't know who the quarterback's going to be. Maybe Zach Calzada. People say, what? Yes, he came over from A&M. So he is in the quarterback room, and we'll see how that goes. But and then you've got Tank Bigsby, who is arguably the best running back in the league, with a league with strong running backs. But Mark, my concern for Auburn is going to be the line of scrimmage in the defense. I think they'll eventually be okay. Brian Harsin will find a quarterback. And he needs to get guys like Owen Pappoe at linebacker healthy. And if he can do that, I think that's going to help them tremendously. But look, we know Auburn's history. If they don't win 8 or 9 games, I think at minimum, unfortunately, that they could be looking for another coach at the end of the year. I still think, and this is a sermon on another day, I still think Brian Harsin's a lot more of what they need than they realize. Harsin is a tough-nosed, loves to in the line of scrimmage, to be able to at least get a stalemate there. And the other thing is he will hold these Auburn boosters at an arm's length. And I don't think they understand that sometimes, Mark. But the reality is if you're going to win there, and it's not just Auburn, it's some other schools too, you got to say, look, we love you. Thank you for what you do, but I'm running the program and you sit back and enjoy it.
If there is a coach that's written off this season in college football, it's Brian Harsin, and he might be on his own list. He might be on his own separate list. Everybody has written him off, but he may prove, if given an opportunity and a chance there at Auburn, to be a better football coach than many believe that he is. He has endured a rough off season.